Okay, are we ready to go? Yes. Oh, there may be some people coming in, but not to worry. Thank you so much for joining us again. I think this is the third time that the Senior Advisory Council has been here, and we really like this kind of presentation. Oh, that's okay. Come on in. You're in the right place.
There's one right there in the corner ready for him. It's the entry form's right there. Okay, I'll hand him that.
Okay. I want to remind people that we had you gave out a piece of paper that said we value your feedback. Besides the feedback, this is mainly listing of all the stuff that we do. If you have some more questions or want to talk to any one of us, just check it off. I promise we are not going to go through and call you every night or whatever. But please be legible if you want us to call you back, or email and whichever you prefer. And we can give you some more information. Also, it's a double whammy because if you do fill it out, we will be collecting it at the end of the presentation and having a raffle. So tie it up there. All right. Well, we're going to introduce ourselves first and give you a little bit of quick intro of who we are and what we do. I'm Michelle Burkhart, and I'm the professional fiduciary of the group, California Licensed Professional Fiduciary. How many people know what that is? Okay. Dolores does because we've been working with her for a while. But anyway, so there's usually two tracks. I got into it after a career in business and entrepreneurship about 40 some years. And my financial planner and one of my clients who was a state attorney said, you should look into this. I said, okay. And I did. And fiduciaries in California have to have at least 30 hours of training from a license, like I went to Cal State Fullerton. Then we have to take a huge national and California state test, which most people don't, pass the first time around. But I did. I was so surprised. On their two tracks, there's the trustee track and there's the conservatorship track. So a professional fiduciary is not a objective person that you can bring on in case you don't want to have your kids do it or your sister do it or your brother, that will help you end of life issues, or also be a successor trustee if you have a trust. Usually you want to name 2 or 3 people and work with you that way. So I can get into it a little bit more, but I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and my dad was in the FBI, and so little things like that. My mom was from the farm, but I got into business, and I've been in business for myself for some 40 years, and I've really loved it. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Richard.
Oh, I gotta go first.
You gotta go first.
Oh, okay.
This is Richard's first time doing this too. So.
Yes. Oh, God.
Press down the button because it's being.
Oh, fine. So hi, my name is Richard. I'm a Navy brat. My dad came here I was born in Pearl Harbor, and my dad came here to NTC, and he was a submariner, and we've been here since. I went to San Diego State and got a degree in mechanical engineering and found out I wasn't that smart. So I decided in about 1999 to get into the appraisal industry. And I had my own appraisal company for about 10 years. And then my dad died in 2010, and he had a reverse mortgage. And it was at that point.
Two very close friends in ICU that were going to pass. And I ended up calling all of these trust attorneys, trying to get someone to go to the hospital. Because of the liability of them being in ICU, they wouldn't go to the hospital and do it. So now I do a lot of trusts in hospitals, unfortunately, but it's great peace of mind knowing that when they pass, their family's not having to pay, probate, deal with all the probate problems. So love what I'm doing. So if you have any questions in regards to setting up a new trust, or even just review of your trust or restatements if you have some changes, I'm your person. Thanks.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Put it closer to my mouth. Okay. My name is Rick Goodman, and this is Kim, my other half.
Or he could use both. Yeah, we're going down.
Yeah, you're punching the wrong way.
I'm a two-fisted drinker. Might as well be a two-fisted. I don't drink, by the way. My name is Rick Goodman, and this is my other half, Kim. We are both realtors, and I'll tell you a quick, interesting little story of how we got. I've been selling real estate. I'm a San Diego native, and I've been selling real estate here in San Diego for 33 years now. But before I got my license, I used to work for a guy named Robert Allen, who's a big-time real estate investor. Wrote many books on, investing in real estate with no money down, kind of thing. If you guys remember any of the books, No Money Down books? Anyway, but about 9 years ago, there was a big seminar company here in San Diego that was it. Well, to go in and help them teach these realtors. Well, I found out through their process what they were doing is they were targeting seniors. They were specifically sending out postcards and mailers out to senior citizens, asking them to sell their property and not use real estate agents or anything like that. But basically, they're taking advantage of them, trying to steal your equity. And when I found that out, that really pissed me off. So I started my own organization called Housing Advocates for Retired People. And basically what we do is we protect seniors from being taken advantage of by these greedy investors. So that's kind of what we do. And in your pamphlets there, I've got a report. There's not just investor scams. There's a lot of other scams out there, stealing title and all that. And it's all in there. So you guys can download it. It's for free. And if you put your email address, trust me, I'm not going to hound you and bug you for to sell your house or anything like that. But if you have any questions in regards to that, let Kim and I know. Great.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kendra Cole. I have a business called Noni Senior Living Placement. I am a placement specialist. What is a placement specialist? I work with seniors and their families to help find housing, independent living, assisted living, memory care for seniors based upon their care needs, their financial needs, their social needs, location desires, etc. That one lovely place down the road may not be appropriate for what our care needs may be. A big community may not be appropriate for someone who has dementia and their life is really small. So I am a complimentary service. I do get paid by the communities, a referral fee, but I don't limit myself to certain communities. I will find whatever is appropriate for my clients. Like how to deal with dementia and dementia related behaviors. So there's a lot to consider. I got into placement because a lot of us don't think about what our next steps are. We really hope that we're going to be in our place. I've heard the saying 20 times, they're going to take me out feet first out of my own home. I appreciate that. And you know what? We'll get Aaron's Home Care in to help you to do that. But sometimes it's not the most affordable or even the best solution for seniors. There are studies out there that saying that socialization is one of the most important things for us to do for longevity as well as for quality of life. So there are a lot of different factors. I have if you have questions, there's over 700 licensed communities in San Diego County alone. Right? So there's a lot of options. Yeah, there's a lot of options out there. They're not all great options for you or your loved ones at the time that they need it. So I'm happy and I'm here to help.
Okay, so that's the team. The one thing we all have in common is that we really care about providing the best services for the client. and we work in conjunction with each other. We have other resources and our referrals, but pretty much we have the same goal of serving the client is our number one goal. And that's how we've survived and work. We meet once a month, either by Zoom or together, and go out and do presentations and have people able to talk to the resources. So this is your time now. And I think there's a microphone, isn't there?
Or do you want to use these?
Okay, so
Yeah,
who's
press
gonna
it.
lead the first question? All right, this lady in red.
I have a question about insurance and a trust. Someone told me that something happens if you don't have a house in a trust or you do have it regarding the insurance, if they would pay if there was damage to your house. Can you shed any light on that for me?
I've never heard there was whether it's in a trust or not. I don't. Yeah. Never heard about that.
So it's
That has to be
bogus.
something I'll need to look at. Sorry about that. I forget to use this because I talk loud.
Homeowners insurance?
Talking about, I have a trust,
Yeah.
and I also have an agent for insuring all my home and so someone told me that I should check into my agent because there's a possibility that the insurance company would not cover my home if it burned down, because if it was in a trust or not in a trust, and I'm not sure how that goes. And so
Yeah, you would have the trust as a name insured is what you would do. You would have the trust as a name insured on your insurance policy.
Are
And
you
that
a
would
successor
take.
trustee in your policy?
Pardon me?
Or on your trust, are you successor trustee?
I have a trust. I have a trust.
Yeah.
She has a trust,
Aaron,
she has a trustor and she has a successor trustee,
Yeah.
which is one, but.
One
But
thing
I
that
think
Aaron
what-
just mentioned that may have been maybe what you heard, and this is correct, your insurance, your homeowner's insurance company should have the name of the trust. It should match each other. So if you have a name, so maybe it was something to do with that the insurance didn't have the name of your trust.
He wasn't in
The policy was you personally, possibly, and the,
That's all.
so
Yeah.
thank you, Aaron. Yes.
That's all.
It's not in the trust.
Right. The policy must match the name of the trust.
Yeah.
I had never heard that there was an issue before, and my sister went through a lot of this. She lost her house in the fires and Scripps. So, and there were people that had it always, and they all got covered. So I haven't heard anything specifically, but if my information's in there, I'd be happy to look up details for you. So, but I think it's possibly what they're talking about more frequently now because of the fires up in LA is the names have to match. So your section in there, the certification of trust, make sure you send that to your homeowner's policy. So they have
Yeah.
the name of your trust.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
Yes.
My dad just turned 95 and lives on his own in Palm Desert. We want him to move, but he's being very stubborn. But that's not my question. My question. I just had to get that out. My question is, he was in the Korean War, and I don't know who this is, but does he have VA benefits that can come to him to help him to move into an assisted living when he turns 100?
You could hook you up with somebody it's called VA age of attendance. That's what that's called.
VA,
Aid in attendance.
okay,
Yeah, that's what the program is called.
okay,
Get a hold of us. I've got a person, she's not on our board right now. But I have a person I could refer you to that could help you out with that for sure.
Yeah, it
Or
doesn't
someone
matter
who
the
lives-
income level. It's anybody who has been in combat, as if I remember.
Yeah, 1 day in combat.
so
Even one
You don't have
day.
to be in combat. You could be in a
Yeah.
test, but it's during combat time.
yeah. And does he need to go have a physical exam? Someone told me that he needs to, no?
Someone that knows the questions and answers.
That's right.
what stops a lot of people from getting their benefits when they need it is a mistake is on that original, and then they have to wait, I think it's like a year or something.
I'm not sure.
It's crazy.
But you want somebody to fill out the paperwork properly.
Yeah.
Because if it's
Yeah.
not filled out properly, then there's a long waiting.
Yeah.
So can all of you come with me to my dad's house?
Let's use the microphone when we're responding so everybody can hear. Yeah.
I just find it, I'm just gonna ask, my father.
It's so everybody can hear.
It's just.
Press and
I don't
hold.
think this is.
I know, you have to press
Lights on.
and hold.
It's working.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
My father applied for aid and attendance. He's passed now, but it was income related. He had,
Yeah.
so I thought I heard people say it wasn't income related.
No, aid in attendance is income related.
Okay.
There is another VA
Yes.
support program.
Right,
and I
that's
don't know
not.
if that's not. It's
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Homemakers.
so it's
VA
income.
Homemakers.
Okay, I know you're all bursting with questions. What else do we have?
I actually have one. So, for Aaron, home care, isn't there also a veteran benefit?
You have to talk at the top
Oh,
of the.
sorry. Isn't there also a veteran benefit for in-home care as well? Do you help set that
Yes,
up?
and you can use either of those. We were talking about the VA aid in attendance.
Okay.
Is just a benefit how you get the money, but then you can use it for home care
Okay,
as
gotcha.
well as the homemakers.
But it's the same
benefits.
application and you have multiple benefits. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go, right up here.
My question has to do with the fiduciary. I have one, but of course my concern is I think the fiduciary might be about my age. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
how does that, and I don't have any family or whatever. So I'm thinking, if and when the time comes that I might need her,
Mhm.
not just for the trust, but maybe to line up medical something.
Mhm.
What should I
happens?
do?
Okay.
What is my plan B?
Do you have a trust?
I do.
Okay, usually what I always recommend is having 2 or 3 successor trustees is what it's called. So you have the first person that you have would be the first successor trustee, then you could name 2 more. Because at any one time, doesn't matter the age, they may not be able to handle the case, had an accident or whatever, but it's usually good to have 2 or 3 backups. Fiduciaries don't always handle the medical part of that, which I don't personally, but there are some fiduciaries that do both. But if you don't, then you would get a medical power of attorney along with that. So the fiduciary would usually handle the monetary part of that and making sure that the monies and the resources are there to take care of you and handle that. The medical person would be interacting with the doctors and that kind of thing, and have the medical power of attorney to carry out your wishes of what you would like to have done in case you're incapacitated and you are not going to come out of it.
So, but the medical power of attorney implies that I know somebody's name to put down.
Yes, usually they're designated in the, right. Now, there are some fiduciaries, and I can give you some references that do both.
Mm.
They would be the medical power of attorney and they would be the power of the trustee and care and handle both of them.
I see.
There's a couple of people that do that I have. If you want to give me your name, I can send you that contact information.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
What do you do if you have a son and a daughter and can they both be successor trustees?
They could, but I wouldn't advise it. I wouldn't advise co-trustees. One should be the trustee and the second could be the successor trustee. Because basically the trust is going to tell them what to do. So it's usually a lot less conflicting if you have one person that is in charge of carrying out the wishes of the trust or executing the trust.
Would it be appropriate to have one as the primary trustee and the other the medical power of attorney?
Yeah. I've seen that before, whereas one person is more conducive in handling the medical aspect of it and the other one is better at the, financial end of it or the trust executive administrative end of it. The trust is really an administrative issue a lot, and some people are not as well versed in it as others. And the medical one, you could have them split if they were willing to take one and the other.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was gonna say that, oh, sorry, real quick. I was gonna say that I have a friend who I've known for many years who owns an Allstate insurance company. So I sent her a text. We'll see what she says. I'll get back to you. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
I know people.
Microphone.
I louder.
Yes.
Okay, I just was gonna say maybe talk to Richard about a reverse mortgage purchase. We did this with clients a couple years ago. They had a home in San Carlos and he didn't have an income really to support getting a new home, but he had a 2-story home, 3-story home. Okay, and he wanted to get into a 1-story, but no income. So we got him into a reverse mortgage to purchase. And now he's in that new home, 1-story home, and no house payment. And because they take a certain amount of your principal and put it towards your new home. So they're living life now because they had a mortgage before and now they're mortgage free. But Richard probably could tell you more about how that works. I think that's such an important thing for people right now because they don't know. Right now, so many of us are sitting on a lot of equity in our homes and we don't want to move. And, because you're thinking, well, what am I going to do? I don't want another mortgage. So that's absolutely a great, great sign.
Let me expound on that a little more because what happens is a lot of times what people do is they go, oh, my house is paid off. Might not. Yeah. My house is paid off. And what I want to do is I want to sell my house and take all my equity and buy the next house. And then they're equity rich and cash poor. So with doing the reverse for purchase situation, you could sell your house and you're only taking half your equity and buying the next house with it through a reverse mortgage with no payments and taking. So for instance, if you sold your house for $1 million, you could take your 500,000, buy the next house, and you're keeping $500,000 and you go on vacations and you buy a boat or whatever you want to do with that money. And you still have no mortgage payments on your new home. And now you've downsized and you're living in a single level home. And it's a really great thing.
And another thing to think about too is that with the reverse mortgage or with anything in the planning stages, what I find is a lot of people think about, okay, what am I going to do after I pass? But they don't really plan for what am I going to do if I'm incapacitated? And that's the biggest thing, is to plan what's going to happen if you're incapacitated. A couple of clients, they're concerned about leaving it to children and want to do it this way. And I always bring up the aspect of what if you need it first? And so that's where all of us in one way or another can help plan each step of the way by the interactions that we do as well. So that's what I found a big problem is people, and it's costly. I mean, it's wonderful to age in place. It really is. However, it can be, if you need 24/7 care, it can be $30,000 a month just for the care. And that's where if you need that money first before going on a vacation, you can sock some away in case you needed that help or whatever. So
Do you want to talk about that, Richard?
yeah, Richard, want to give some insight on
Richard.
Do it, Richard.
Thank you.
it is, yeah. Come on, Richard. They're all friends.
So, yeah, I guess the easiest way to explain it is, like Rick said, if you need to downsize, which a lot of empty nesters do need to downsize, and that's a great example. You have a house that's paid for, it's worth $1 million, and you need something smaller. Rather than using all your cash to buy your next place, which often needs to be done because a lot of people in our age group can't qualify for a regular loan, right? So the reverse mortgage acts as 50%. We get you 50%, and as long as the buyer has 50%, then we can get you the basically twice as much house. So in Rick's example, if somebody wants a $500,000 house, that means they would have to use 500 of their $1 million and buy their house, where they would not have to do that. I would give them 250, and then they would put up 250, and they'd be able to buy the house and move in and never have a mortgage payment again. All they have to do is pay property taxes and insurance. Well, all have to pay property taxes and insurance.
Why wouldn't everyone do that?
You know what? I say this to people all the time. There should be a line out my door. The reason is because we got a bad rap. And the bad rap happened up until 2014, before we changed the guidelines. But prior to that, people were using the loan as in not good ways. So what was happening is, if my 65-year-old man borrower was married to a 55-year-old gal, and they really needed to do something because they were in a pickle, they would take the 55-year-old gal off a title. They would do the loan in the man's name. A few years later, he dies, and now the loan's due. The next thing you know, she's calling AARP and the local news and putting us in the news. So in 2014, we stopped that. So it's been, 12 years. So that's why you guys haven't seen us in the news, because FHA changed the guidelines.
And a lot of people were confused about, oh, I can't sell the house, I can't give it to my kids,
Yeah.
and that's not true either.
So that was always the big myth, that folks were trading in their equity for a little cash, only to give their house to the lender or to me or whoever, and that was the furthest thing from the truth. You know, bad talk spreads really fast. Good talk does not.
And Richard, also, they now have, I mean, you sit in front of somebody that sits down and does a interview with you too. So before you just kind of would go, now don't they have people that they would sit.
So, right, what
Like a
she's
vetting.
referring to is, and it's kind of been this way for a while. Before the application is taken, I do it this way, at least. I have the borrower. Every person that has a reverse mortgage in the United States has had to talk to a third party person that I don't know, and they don't know me. And they go through the program and make sure the information I have given them is correct and I'm not lying. So again, I don't know those counselors. They don't know me. And they issue a certificate. And once the certificate has been delivered to me, then I can start the application process. So FHA has put a lot of stop checks to make sure loan officers are not bamboozling people.
And the consumers protect.
Yes,
Right.
and that's why FHA is involved. Yeah.
Yes, you had a question.
Mike's battery gun. That all sounds interesting. I don't understand all that stuff, but simplistically speaking, I got all that equity.
Mm-hmm.
Got 2 kids that I'm gonna leave something to, whatever's left.
Mm-hmm.
If I take out a reverse mortgage
Mm-hmm.
just to get some cash out of my house and to have to not keep making it work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any complications at the end when I die and my wife dies?
So,
Or something getting turned over to my kids?
right, the way I like to explain that is, if you were to get on the way home from this event, you were to get in a car wreck, and I don't know if your wife's with you today or not, your house would go to your kids anyway, right? It would go, they're probably the heirs, or you have them in your trust. So if we fast forward and you have a reverse mortgage, it's the exact same thing. Whatever equity is left, your kids could sell the house and get that equity, or they can choose to keep the house and pay off whatever balance is on the reverse mortgage and then keep the house.
They would have to pay off the balance.
Yes, the maturity event is the borrower passing. That's a
But
maturity
if
event.
if they're over 62, could they have a reverse, if the kids were over 62 and they got the
So
house?
that's a great question. If your kids reach that point and they want to do a reverse mortgage, they could call up any lender or call me up and say, can I do my parents had a reverse mortgage. Can I get a reverse mortgage with the same house? The answer is absolutely yes.
But they would have to live in that property.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't rent the property.
it has to be on your primary property.
They refinance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the bottom line then becomes, that sounds well and good, but what is ultimately the risk to me or to my kids?
There isn't one.
No.
Maybe it's just
No.
all this bad press.
Right. So
99%.
oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, they.
You know what? That's a great question. And to me, there's none. There's none at all. Obviously the cost is that your loan, because you're not making payments, your current loan, I mean your reverse mortgage loan, will grow over time because you're not making
The
payments.
interest goes against the building.
Because every month we all write a check to our lender, and a portion of that goes to principal, and a portion of that goes to their pocket, the lender's pocketbook, right? I mean, we understand that. That's how it works. That's how loans work. If you get a reverse mortgage, you don't have to make any payments. So whatever portion would normally go in the lender's pocketbook or pocket that month gets tacked on to the loan amount.
But your house is also appreciating too. So it kind of offsets.
So the lender doesn't make any money until you die. That's when they that's when they earn their money. So, well, why is that? Why would a lender want to do that and wait 8 years? Because that's the average life of a reverse mortgage loan. Because FHA is involved, and FHA is ensuring that they get their money back.
What's the going rate today for one of those?
Yeah.
About 6%. Yeah. So the reverse mortgage rates are very competitive with any one of you going out and refinancing and pulling cash. But they're more steady. Where as we all watch the news, we see that interest rates are going up and down daily. Reverse mortgage rates don't move that quickly. But yeah, it's about 6 to 6.5%.
Well, back in 2008 and beyond, when houses were depreciating, did that contribute to the bad rap? That because people were upside down on the value of the balance of the.
It may have, because now there's more of our population in default or people dying, and the people that the husband and wife that took one of them off of the loan has now come to the surface, right? But really, what suffered the most is FHA. FHA was writing lots and lots of checks in 2009, 2010
to cover it.
to cover those losses.
Okay.
But all the lenders were whole, were being made whole. And this is why we pay this insurance to the Federal Housing Administration to be part of this club. It's the FHA club. But it's a good club. I can go on and on and on about why it's good. But okay. I'm just answering questions.
I know you are. I know. We're just going to shut up. I think you had a question.
Is the interest rate I'm likely to get the same whether I go with you or with somebody else? In other words, everybody has their own interest rate.
Yeah. They're all pretty much the same, whether you go with me or him or her or whoever. The only difference that I like to tell people is it's probably better you go with a broker because if you call up the lender directly, you're stuck with them and their underwriter. Where if I have a problem with somebody's loan, I have 5 different lenders I can go to. I'll just pull it from them and tell them to F off and go to somebody else. I get loans done and I don't use a processor. I get loans done. I'll stop talking unless you guys have more questions.
So
I'm not a talker.
then the other
most of
thing,
at this point, or,
Yeah.
okay, and do most of you want to stay in your homes till you pass on to the?
Yeah.
Okay, so what particular questions would you have or?
She's not finished.
Oh, I'm sorry.
one more thing. So when you said that the rules changed so that the wife couldn't be taken off the
Oh,
title.
great question. Okay.
So,
I'll
so
explain.
does that mean that they look back at the title for a number of years and then see?
So, yeah, no,
She's gone
unfortunately,
before.
right. That's a great question. Unfortunately, the loans that were done prior to August 14th, 2014, they are what they are. If they wanted to add the spouse, which they should, they would have to refinance the loan because there's so much paperwork involved. It's a big thing. But what we're doing today is the loan amounts are based on the youngest person's age. So if some 65-year-old guy is married to a 20-year-old gal, lucky him,
Settle down.
the loan amounts are based off of her age, right? So the loan amounts are going to be really small because she has a lot more life to when she dies at 100. All our actuary tables are based on people dying on their 100th birthday, even though we allow them to live longer.
I have a question.
Okay.
One more question on this.
Move on to another.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, let me ask one more question, and I have all the equipment, so.
He's the boss.
No, if I were to do a reverse mortgage today, is that a reassessment event from a tax standpoint, from a real
No.
estate?
So this doesn't affect Social Security. It doesn't affect.
I'm talking about
but property
county
tax.
taxes.
No, it doesn't.
Not a reassessment event.
The reassessment happens when you in San Diego County and in California when you change.
So there's no
owner.
change in method of ownership.
That's the only trigger event in San Diego County. So if you have it in a trust, it stays in your trust. If it's in you and your wife's name, it stays in your name.
Okay, does anybody else have another question besides reverse mortgages?
You started it.
Yeah, I know, and you did very well. Because I have some questions for the panel that they might share some information with. Okay, how many people, oh, I'm sorry. That's all right.
Getting back to my dad. To get power of attorney for him, I looked up and there's a sheet you have to fill out and get it notarized. And then I'm the power of attorney. That's it? Okay.
There's many aspects of power of attorneys. There's a whole listing and you can check off certain ones, or you can check off general power of attorney and be involved with everything. So I would suggest consulting an attorney, to have it done.
Okay.
Correctly.
Yeah, to get it done correctly, so there's no questioning, because
Okay.
I've been a power of attorney and I would go to the bank and they'd say, well, who are you? I said, well, here's my paperwork. And they go, well, still, who are you?
Yeah.
So you just want to make sure you have it,
Okay.
everything written down, so it's,
I better do it soon.
yeah.
It's a opportunity.
Does your father have a trust?
Yes.
He does, okay.
Yes.
So in there's gonna be a power of attorney.
Are you the trustee?
Have medical and financial power of attorney.
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you might already be listed in that, so I would
Yeah.
use
Okay.
trust.
Yeah. The trust would be in there, right? And for any of those, I would suggest having trust reviewed on a regular basis, because we make trusts,
Yeah.
but then we don't look at them later. In that sense, how many have long-term care insurance? Okay, good. You want to address long-term care insurance, Sandy? Why they should or maybe not have it or whatever?
Okay, so recently I was asked a question, is long-term care insurance worth it? Well, basically, like all insurance, you're paying a little bit of money to have a larger amount of coverage. And at some point in time, we're all going to need long-term care insurance. The myth is that we need it when we're ready for hospice. And that's not necessarily true. Maybe there's an illness or an accident or an injury where you're out several weeks, where you can't do two of your activities of daily living. You need help to come in to the home. That's long-term care insurance. And that could be just for 6, 8 weeks, and then you close your claim. So you can use your long-term care piecemeal. Another myth that I was recently talking to somebody is that he owns his own business and he takes care of his mom. And so it puts a strain on him. He actually has to hire people to help run his business so he can take care of his mom, which it puts him in a financial strain and an emotional strain as well. So he's a caregiver, not a love giver to his mom. And people keep telling him, well, she raised you, so now it's your turn. Well, life is different. When you have kids, you raise them to be independent. When you're an adult and you need care, you're never going to be independent anymore. That's the truth. And so you need to have something in place to help with what the next stage is of your life and how you want to live with dignity, not only for you, but for your loved ones. So, yeah.
So, I may be wrong on this, but I thought that something happens and you need some care. But with long-term health insurance, you have to wait 90 days before you can use it.
Oh, okay, so some policies do have a 90-day elimination period. I have one that's 15 days. I even have one that's 0 days. Now, it's more expensive to have a shorter elimination period. But some of the older policies that are really nice have lots of benefits, but they do have the 90-day elimination period, which means you are on the hook for the first 90 days.
And that's when you need it.
Right, right. And so what I can create a plan, like I just did one not too long ago for a lady who's 79 and is only for 0 elimination period, only for a 6 months period. Because that was her concern, is if she needs, she's 79 and she still rides her bike, racing bike. And so if something happens to her, she has an accident, she needs some care right away. And so I just wrote her something very small, very simple, to cover that issue. It's a little over $400 a month.
Let me kind of, I relieve when I find out that my clients have long-term care insurance because when they go to, thank you. I'm relieved when they have long-term care insurance because when they do go to an assisted living community, they're not just covering the care, but they'll also cover the base costs. So it becomes quite significant. So rather than covering, I'll make up a number, $5,000 in care a month, they could then cover $10,000 care a month because it covers both the rent and other components as well as their care costs. So from a long-term perspective, it's a phenomenal thing to have that policy. It really helps with the transition from living at home to having to move into a community.
Yeah, I would like to say it's also not also black and white when you're talking about the long-term care insurance, the assisted living versus home care. A lot of time, I mean, it is very expensive to have 24/7 care, but over 15 years, that's, I mean, probably 10% of our clients. But most people that utilize us some period of time. You know, it may go up and down if they have surgeries, but you can afford so many hours a day. And if you have long-term care insurance, then that's great. And then often transition to an assisted living. It's not either or, it's utilizing all of these tools and when to utilize them. And another mistake I see is with the long-term care insurance, people are resistant to having care in their home, which I understand. But if you have 90 days of care that you need to pay for, you want to get that deductible out of the way as soon as possible. So I would use, be more open to using and getting care in your home when you only need 4 hours a day to pay out of a pocket versus 24 hours a day. I mean, you're really going to pay 6 times what you're going to pay. And a lot of people wait until they need 24-hour care to then cash it in. No, it's also that a lot are different. I mean, so they're different, you can't. But yeah, usually it's the days. So if you wait, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars difference that you're going to pay out of pocket. So learn it, review it, and use it.
Yeah, I think the moral of this whole conversation that we're having around life insurance or long-term care insurance is to really revisit what your benefits are and what the conditions are, what your elimination periods are, what you need to qualify for, and have that in already kind of have a handle on that before you need it. And then you can start to, you can explore how you're going to use it to the best of your ability. Only because you might have been paying for this policy for years, maybe even decades. And so you don't want to hoard it. You don't want to hoard it until, till the very end. And another thing that we see in home care is that we have a lot of the times couples, right? And then one or the other, the husband or the wife, or will say, oh, my wife will take care of me. I've got my wife, she'll take care of me.
Right.
And or the wife or the husband will feel guilty. I'm here, I can do everything. Nobody else can take care of my partner better than I can. And then they often neglect themselves as well. And so if you have something like long-term care insurance, you also need to consider something like home care, caregivers at home, to help keep both people in the family as healthy as possible. And even if it is once or twice a week with home care, it doesn't have to be 24/7 right off the bat. You can ease into it and then adjust as the needs are, and then maybe even go into assisted living and speak to Kendra about it when that time comes. So it doesn't have to be all at once. But in the meantime, you can really prolong, your marriage. I think it's really good for your marriage because
or your family.
Your spouse can be your spouse, even if it's only for a few hours a day. You can go back to being your spouse instead of being the caregiver, because that takes toll. So what I like to say to people, to couples who are maybe on the fence about it, is that sometimes the caregiver is more for the family or the spouse, so they can get a break and they can take care of their doctor's appointments and their mental health. They can go grab lunch with a friend, to maintain that balance. So that's what I have to say.
Every day, all the time. You
Mm.
just need a break.
That's good.
I have another question about my dad. We've had people come in hourly and he won't have it right now. And of course, because he said he doesn't know what to do with them. And so I had someone for 4 hours a day.
Kick about.
And the girl sat in a chair and played on her phone. And my dad's, at his age, was very frustrated, but he also he's not very aggressive. So he didn't know what to say to them to do. So what do you recommend these people do for 4 hours?
I think if you really sit and think about it, there are many things that they can do. Right. But there is laundry that can be done. There's organizing of cupboards. There's going through the refrigerator and throwing out things that are expired or have gone off. There's shopping that can be done, meal prep.
Can you ask them to do pretty much anything?
No.
Except medical.
What
Not
can you
any-
not?
I mean, all of that is included.
Yeah.
What can you not ask them to do?
So that's a really good question. So we are non-medical caregivers. So we can take care of personal care, things around the house. So we can't do anything that requires kind of a higher license or we can't, like, we can't dose out the medications for one thing, or wound care, we can't do anything like that. But, errands, companionship, did your dad like to do anything that that
He still does. He builds every day, builds.
okay. And
Things.
okay, so maybe the caregiver would be able to take him to the hobby shop to get more supplies. Or, hey, you know what? Instead of let me do this thing for you while you do your hobby.
So they can drive a car and take my dad place?
Yes, as long as you kind of arrange that with the agency, and it's going to take a little bit of thinking ahead on ways to utilize the caregiver in the home and kind of maybe outside of the box ways also, besides personal care.
We've had a question back here.
Oh, yeah, I would just say, I'll be quick. A couple things. One, I think one of the best utilization is to do physical therapy, and it's while we're there, and it's not that we are physical therapists, but if they have an exercise sheet, 90% of the problem is motivation. So if you just need someone to say, okay, it's time for physical therapy, and let's do it. Movement and getting up and doing whatever exercises are key, are huge. So
To say just because if you have to really be in contact with the agency and say, hey, my dad is not going to be cool with somebody sitting in the chair playing on the phone. Look busy. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah, and leave a list or something. Okay.
Yeah, leave a
over
list.
here.
I'm gonna walk forward. So
Okay.
I'm with Richard, but
This is Richard.
this is kind of close to home. About 6 years ago, I took over. I got the call. Dad was sick. Mom had dementia.
You want to talk at the top of the mic so everybody can hear.
So dad was sick. Mom had dementia already, and I got the call. I was working at a company in Oklahoma. I said, fine. Sold everything, came home. Anyways, long story short, I don't even know what to start. Long-term care, look
Sure.
at it. So worth the money. I don't have that for my mom. Insurance for your homes, keep everything in place. Review your documents. Talk to her. I spend close to $5,000 personally a month for my mom's care. I have her memory care 5 days a week. She still lives with me. I cannot do a reverse mortgage for her because she has no capacity. But there's a ton of equity. Just can't get to it. Regarding your dad, sit down and think about. No, I'm being super serious because my mom has a nurse that I pay for. Actually, she's with him right now. You can see it. I'll pull up my phone. I have Ring cameras everywhere. Okay, so think about what you want because I pay that nurse for me. It gives me. I hate to tell you, there's days I just sit and I sob because it's rough. So you're paying it for yourself. Because I know your dad makes you a little loony toony. Mine does for sure. My mom makes me loony toony. Well, because I'm crazy too. I've been doing it for almost 6 years. So you can literally list everything you want. And then you interview the people that are caring for your parents. And you can tell them if they don't want to do what you want to do, you know what you do? Next. Because you're spending the money. So all of this is awesome. Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome.
It gives me the opportunity to do what I do, and it gives me the opportunity to take care of my mom. I wish I could take care of my dad. By the way, Dignity took care of my father. Yeah, it kind of touches, but it's so hard. So I mean, planning is everything. I don't want to sound salesy or anything because I'm not, but literally, it all matters. And your sanity is super important.
Yeah, that's
All
the
right.
part.
Sorry.
That's the
No
part.
problem. Thank you for that.
Well,
Which brings us to this lady I was going to ask. What are some of the things that people don't think about that you want to suggest that they do think about before it's too late? I mean, I want to be a diamond.
That's
I
a
know that
loaded
for
question.
sure.
I mean, the bottom line is we all need a funeral plan. People go, oh, I'm just going to get cremated. That's a funeral plan. That's a plan. We're going to get just cremated. So each and every one of us has to have some sort of plan in place. It's about peace of mind for your next of kin, bottom line, because half the time we're passing away at 2 a.m. I don't know what the 2 a.m. hour is, but then they're sitting around going, who do you call? Well, nobody's up. Nobody's on the phone. Like, yeah, peace of mind is what you're paying for. It's just so you know who to call and, you have everything kind of in order because it's chaotic when you lose somebody. People don't like us when they come in and they don't have anything in place. So already upset when they come in, and then you got to start talking about things they don't want to talk about, monies, decisions. They don't want to talk about any of that. Yeah, so pre-planning is the time to do it. We all have car insurance. We all have a homeowner's insurance. All these things we have to pay for, but yet I don't know why they don't force us to get, our funeral plans in order. So I was saying to him,
Funeral plans in order.
anybody, funeral plan? Yeah, I've actually helped a few people in the audience. Hi, friends. No, no, you can't. Yeah, no, you can't. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you pre-plan, you are locking in the pricing of today, and you get discounts and stuff like that. So that's how the industry is actually designed. I love educating people on how the industry works, so that I can help you figure out how to make it work for you better. That kind of thing. So, but coming to us at the time of is not going to be. Yeah, it's not a lot of fun, and it's way more expensive, and it's just such a headache. So. But that's my thing. I said to Richard when I overheard the gentleman talking about he couldn't get to his mother's equity in the home. I said, how can you go about that? Getting things in order, getting that power of attorney is essential. My mom had cancer, and my brother currently has cancer. And I remember having those conversations with her. Get the power of attorney in order. Go into the bank. You have to bring in the trust to the bank. Get these things in order. Make sure your kids or whoever is going to be the person has these things in place now. I mean, we don't need to wait, past 50. But yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. A lot of people I think are like you said, are equity have a lot of equity, but not enough cash to really take care of ourselves. And I run into that at the office as well, So I've even turned people away, come in trying to get their funeral plan, just a simple cremation. And we'll talk about, do you have a house? Do you have a trust? And they're like, I don't have a trust. Like, I'm not going to help you today. We're going to get you a trust first. We got to protect the house, and then you can come back and get a simple cremation. So we're all here to help and figure out the process and how to do it. And I think a lot of us have examples, from our own lives. And that's why we're here to share those things. Yeah.
Does you have a question?
Do you connect with military funerals?
Yeah.
No, because you can't select a spot before you need it.
True, true. No, it's a great question.
Lights on,
No light.
Batteries.
We might be dead. That's okay. I'm loud. So military gets free cemetery, as you know. You just go next, right? So you just have to go next, wherever that may be. And a lot of people don't know that one can be traditional, by the way, and one can be cremation. A lot of people don't know that. So I think there's some rumor about you can register with them. They're only registering people so that they have a general idea of how many military folks are still coming their way. There's nothing to actually register for. You don't even have to do that. When someone passes away, we coordinate with the Miramar, which would be Miramar here, right? Rosecrans is all sold out, but we coordinate with them. All we need is a DD 214. It'd be nice to get that in advance. Sometimes they can even use the military card to at least get the honors over there at Miramar, but they don't do funerals. A lot of people say, "Oh, I have everything. I'm good." No, they don't do funerals. They don't do cremation. They don't do embalming. They don't do anything with the funeral side. They only handle cemetery, and that's usually the biggest message I like to make sure I get out there. So, very important that you at least get that situated, and then we'll coordinate with the military at the time of need. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I have a question for you about home care, and specifically when I was buying it, I felt very lucky that I could get 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the afternoon. My goal was I probably need to do 8 hours. So when you say, oh, well, we can do 4 hours one day, 4 hours another day, and I'm thinking, isn't this kind of a more, you sign up for the care And just like any employee, you've got number of hours, number of days. Can you say more about that?
Sure, that's a really good question. So we like to keep the schedule really as much as possible up to our clients. So some clients, like I said, if for instance they are living in a family and the daughter is home but works on Wednesdays and Saturdays, then that's what we'll try to do. Different agencies will have different policies for how for their minimum hours per shift. So some will be 3, some will be 4, some will be 6 um, in a row, hours in a row. So it's really going to be agency by agency. So you might have to shop around to see the one that's going to fit your needs the best or your loved one's needs the best. But for the most part, if I will say though, as far as consistency with caregivers, it is better to have a consistent schedule. For instance, just as an example, we don't do kind of like one-off where you can call us the day before and say, hey, I have an appointment. I need someone to watch, my mother for 3 hours. We can't do that because we can't guarantee that we can send a caregiver. If you might find an agency that will be able to do that. But what I'm saying is though, if you want more consistency with your caregivers, having a set schedule is definitely to your benefit, and having longer shifts is generally also better because they also, like you said, it's a job for them. They do have to plan the rest of their lives around their schedules. So that's a good question.
You might also want to check and see how the different agencies bill you. A situation that I had with a client was I took on a case management company. Of course, they had all the different levels, but I didn't need all the different levels. But even with the case manager, the first billing I got was almost like reading a legal bill because they billed me every 15 minutes for administrative. And I said, no, you need to bill and put that into your fee. So there was a real awakening to me because that could add up to $200 or $300 additional on top of it, because most caregiving agencies that I had worked with just had an hourly rate, but they didn't bill me for their administrative aspect of connecting with their caregivers and that kind of thing. So that was a real awakening. So you might want to ask, are there administrative fees that you bill me on top, and are they on 15-minute increments? Because when you're looking at $175 an hour or $145 an hour and a 15-minute increment can be $33.
Yeah.
So
I would say, yeah, it's very true. And a lot of the social, for whatever reason, even though we're talking $1,000, it's all how much do you charge per hour? And yeah, exactly. The company that charges all inclusive is going to be, it might be $1 more than the company that charges, overtime. If the caregiver's in overtime, you're going to have to pay for it. All of that care management, it's a new thing that has come out with
another thing is with
companies.
overtime, that's a cool thing too, because a couple of the companies had their people check in on an app. Well, the person may be late or they may be early, just because they want to be early, and then I'm getting billed for 15 minutes. That's not the scheduled time. So we arranged with them. I said, you need to have your people check in, unless it's something that can be proven that you had to stay over or you had to come earlier, then, but that too could add up too, if they have a certain way that, the people check in.
Yeah, there are a lot of differences, so it's good to interview a few and really understand.
So I'm curious about how you recruit your home care people, because in my wildest dreams, I always imagine that I would find somebody. So in my wildest dreams, I always imagine that maybe I can find a nursing school, a student, a Filipino student who is going to a school, some school, and she's almost done, and I'll give her a bed, and she does whatever she does, but she also takes care of me. So that's my
dream.
Because I talk to people about this all the time. And sometimes people want to like Alice from the Brady Bunch. Oh, the reality is, that person is not bonded or trained, or they get sick. They have their needs too. They may not, they need to sleep as well. So you can't really expect somebody to be in your home all the time for you 24/7. It's just not reasonable. But right, but when you do go to a home care agency, they tend to have bench strength. So they have a lot of caregivers that they work with, that they vetted, that they have trained and keep trained. They know the process. They they know their rules, etc. So and plus, they've done background checks. These other folks not don't have any of that assurance behind that. So it's amazing how many people want that, but the reality is, for your safety and security and knowledge that you're getting the care that you really need and deserve, I always recommend.
And I would also say, especially, you want a team of people around you because there's checks and balances, because there are people that will come in and take advantage. So you don't want to have one person have undue influence on you, and it happens over and over and over again. And then the labor laws of California, if you took someone in your home and you became the employer, they're very complex and strict, and the overtime rules will apply if they stay. I know one case right now that's being litigated for like $1.5 million because she stayed there and didn't get paid that time. So
I could tell you
The liability.
a nightmare story of a client. So we had this woman call us, and she wanted to sell her mother's home because her mother just passed away, and she thought she was going to inherit the property. She thought she was going to inherit the property, and it turns out that just before her mother passed away, that her mother signed over title to her caregiver. And the caregiver was just this slimy woman. And so the daughter missed out and lost her mother's house. And she took her to court, and it was all legal. It was all legal. Yeah.
I wasn't there to see what was going on. This woman Care also had a son, and she put something in her son's name too, bank accounts. And this woman signed it because she didn't know.
Yeah. Be careful who your caregivers are.
Through an agency. The woman in the second
An
row.
agency is going to have liability and professional liability insurance and safeguards against all of that. Because the last thing we want as owners of the agency is to be on the hook for that kind of thing. So.
You had a question? Yeah.
I just want to clarify with Sandra. We have long-term care insurance. The only thing I know about is it keeps rising in price.
Yes.
So I just wanted, but I honestly, if somebody were asking me what's in my policy, I couldn't even tell you. I'm not even sure. So do you suggest that we make an appointment with you and you'll look at it?
Yes, I do that quite often with people, and I'm not going to change anything. But what I do is I just review your policy. I write down a list of questions that I might have or that you might have. We review the questions. I'll sit with you and we'll call the company together.
Okay.
And have them give the answers on what the situation is. You might have a compounding rider on your policy, which means your daily rate has always been increasing. It'd be good to know what your daily rate is. Especially if you're thinking of hiring a caregiver at some point, so you know what you can afford.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
yeah, definitely make an appointment with me.
I'm going to put a plug
And
in.
I don't charge for that either.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to put a plug in for Kim. We went with her and arranged our funeral arrangements, and we wrapped it up and gave it to our kids for present for Christmas.
Yeah. I said, yeah, it's a gift for the kids. Give it to them for Christmas. Here's your copy.
I did something similar, and I called my kids. I did a conference call with my kids, and I said, "Okay, this is what I've done." And so, yeah, it's I'm going to be in a plastic bag. Throw me in the ocean, take me in the desert, and dig a hole. I don't care. services are on you, but it's done.
I
Thank you
just
so
wanted
much.
to mention there is an organization called Elder Help. And a lot of times they match people together. If you have a room in your home, they match people together that might come in and do things for you in exchange. I mean, they vet people out too. And that is a nice program that brings people together for certain needs. So, one quick question, we can take some more questions, but if you want to enter the raffle, if you would pass your things over to the left.
You may not have gotten slips.
I think everybody did. Yeah, so if you fill out the form in the top.
And Kim will go around and pick them up.
Yeah, sure. We have some really good prizes, gift cards. I love prizes.
Okay, here, give it to Kim. Here you go, Kim. There's the first one.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, another question. Some have some comments or questions? Goes to Kim.
Vegetables would call the name.
Yes, you had a question.
Yeah, it's a very minor question, but
It's okay.
When my mother had a caregiver, it was just for a brief time. A day or so after she left, when she was helping me a couple of days later, my mother's diamond earrings were gone.
Oh.
And so that was the first big thing. But they said, well, they could have been gone before she got there. So it's like, how do you protect your valuables when someone comes in? You know,
We do suggest to lock up your valuables. I mean, if you just don't leave things sitting around that could disappear. Well, yeah, no, and that's it. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that, that not petty theft, but well, I don't know, the agency said that or the insurance, because I mean, I would say, yeah.
Insurance.
So, yeah, it's a little bit to credibility, yeah, how they handle it. So no, we would take that very seriously. Yes, we would. We've done it for 15 years. I'm not gonna say we've never had an incident, and when we have had an incident, we stand up to it, yeah, and we even prosecuted someone.
Okay, so basically how SAC works is I can give you an example. We have a relocation specialist before we had Kendra join the group, but she does similar to what had referred me, had actually worked with Rick and Kim on selling a property. And then this couple had been in the property for 40 years in Escondido, and they were moving into assisted living. And so Rick and Kim took care of the selling of the house. And then the gentleman realized, he goes, I don't know what to do with the money and I've never dealt with money. So do you have somebody that can help me deal with the money? So Virginia at that time called me and said, do you do this? And I said, yes. And so I started work with him. I'm not his fiduciary per se. He has his sons as a trustee, but I've worked with him ongoing to find out, okay, I worked with Rick and Kim. How much are we getting after everything's done? Then we could plan it out. Then I eventually found him a financial planner that also projected out how long he has. So he knows if he can stay in this place that he likes to stay in. And we say, okay, you've got 7 years, but if you move, you've got 9, but at least it's his decision. And also keeping his money invested. So that's an example of how the group works together to help somebody through various, issues all the way till they pass. All the way down, yeah.
Yeah, just real quick, to piggyback on the theft, just another window of opportunity is when a caregiver is going out with their credit card or with their debit card. You wouldn't believe how many people want to send them out to go get, go get groceries, go get, so you want a company that has a system in place for that we have a preloadable debit card that we load from the computer. Yeah, that we fund and then we bill what's paid so that the client is never getting cash or money or, that's a very important one that I think.
Yeah, like a TrueLink or something.
TrueLink is what we use. No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
not everybody.
Yeah, TrueLink's a good.
Yeah, we
use True, you can look into like for your own family members. You don't have to get that service through.
Yeah.
an
Oh,
agency.
interesting.
Yeah.
Truly.
It's
Mhm.
called TrueLink. Look
Yeah.
into it. It's a prepaid debit card that you can load up and monitor. You can even
TRULINK.
yeah,
That's a
you
good
can
deal.
you can say, oh, you can't use this at a casino. You know, do this. You know, places you can.
And you see what was charged, yeah.
But we just do that as standard procedure because it
Yeah, makes sense.
protects our caregivers as well.
We don't want any money changing.
And we don't want any
Yeah.
just chance.
That's good.
You know.
That's
sense.
good.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Learn
good.
something every day.
Judy, do you have any added things that listening to people that you would want to add so that they can look forward to or
I would just add
think
to
about?
review your trust. That's a common question. How often do I review my trust? Anytime there's a significant change in your family or anyone that you have listed in the trust, whether it's successor trustees, power of attorneys, or anything, just review it every couple of years or when there's a significant change within your trust. I had mentioned before the restatements of the trust, if there are changes, most times you don't have to pay for a restatement because of the bench strength you've already put in there of 3 or 4 successor trustees. If the first person can't be the successor trustee, they can just resign off and then number 2 comes into place. So I love the education piece of what I do. So if you have any questions like that of do I need to do a restatement? Do I need, to pay for something or we try to do as much upfront so there won't be a restatement situation. It covers you all the way till the end. So that's, as Michelle had mentioned, putting in not just one successor trustee, but putting in 3 or 4. So if one goes out of the country or has an illness or becomes an older age that they can't do it, it just reverts to number 2 and so forth.
Same thing with the medical power of attorney.
Medical and yes, medical and financial.
Yes, Richard, do you have a question?
I do have a question. So we did our trust about 10 years ago and we haven't looked at it since. And I don't even know if our attorney is still around.
That'd be
can
interesting. You might
honestly,
want to call him.
I don't
Richard, and
know.
find
Yeah.
out.
Do we have to have them amend it or can anyone amend it?
No, so a restatement, if someone has their original trust with me, a
You
restatement.
got something going on next door?
Yeah.
Is that what that organ music is?
Oh, yeah. Some type of wonderful. Oh,
If someone calls me and says they have a lot of changes to their trust and they need to do a restatement, I will always offer for no charge to review the trust to make sure they have the main pieces of the trust, like the 5 main pieces in it. And then I'll write notes of, go back to your original attorney, talk about, do they have this? Are we just not seeing it in their trust? Where does it list these things in the trust? So I'll give them the recommendations to go back. To do a restatement, a lot of times your original attorney is not still in business or no one can find them or they've passed or something.
right.
To do a restatement with your original attorney, it should be a very nominal charge. I mean, our restatements, if you started with our company, are $300-$400, very nominal. Unfortunately, a friend of mine's wife passed at a young age last year. He had paid $4,200 to get the trust, went in to talk to his attorney, wanted to make some changes. The attorney charged him another $4,200.
Wow.
So that he was completely taken advantage of. I reviewed it and there were several sections that weren't even covered in his restatement. So I am more than happy to review it to make sure I'm not going to go through the 400 pages and read for all the legal terminology in there, but to make sure the main sections are in there and up to date. And then I always say, go back to that original. If you can find them, ask them how much they charge for a restatement. If there are enough items in your original trust to do a restatement. And then, I'm more than happy to obviously help them and do a new one. So in regards to restatement, most of us have our original trust and we already have our assets funded in the name of the trust, meaning that your assets are in the name of the trust. That's why we like to do it as a restatement instead of starting over, because we use that original name off the trust. So you don't have to take a new trust and then go and fund your assets in the new name. But my questions to them would be, first, I'd look to see if they have those main categories in there: financial, healthcare, power of attorneys, successor trustees. We have, conditions on if you pass, and one of your beneficiaries has an addiction problem, there are conditions that you can put in there that they need to be clean for 1 to 5 years. So there's a lot of things like that that I make suggestions on, but please just go, if you want me to review it, there's no charge for that. I'll make a list of the things you may be missing. And I've even helped non-clients craft an email to their original attorney to say, please explain this, and this, what the cost is for restatement, what you'll cover, what you'll do. So it is really important when it's been 10 years, get it reviewed.
Should get
Yeah.
it.
Get it reviewed and then try to go back to your original
Okay.
attorney.
He's even around.
Yeah.
But if he or she's going to charge a $4,200 to restate it, that's double what I charge. So
I wanted to make one.
Then you got to do the raffle.
Well, yeah, I can do the raffle. Did everybody turn theirs in that wants to be part of the raffle? Okay, good. Well, I did want to piggyback on, if you don't have a trust, by the way, when you pass away, we are looking for next of kin. So funeral homes are gonna be looking for your next of kin to sign off on paperwork, okay? You don't have a next of kin, or if you want to assign it to a best friend, you can. That's called a California Advanced Healthcare Directive. It's a simple document. I can print it for you. It's free of charge. Again, so if you don't have a trust, know that that's another document you might want to at least have handy. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions on that? No? I have an answer for you. Allstate says, I can't say for every insurance company, but for Allstate, they would get paid as long as they are the trustees. So she doesn't need to know that your house was in a trust. If something were to go wrong, you would just need to show that you're the trustee, but they would cover you. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right, now to the drawing, the important thing.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask if there's any categories they think that they would like to see up here. I thought that'd be interesting, right?
Mix them all up.
Yeah, I already did.
Okay, then Richard, you pull one.
Pull from wherever you
Oh,
want.
I'm not doing
Oh,
that.
Okay, I'll pull one. We'll
Let's
each
see.
pull one.
And we have some really good prizes too. 1, 2.
Oh, no, I don't believe
I
it.
don't want to.
Dolores Sullivan.
Oh,
That's who I pulled.
Dolores.
Dolores, yeah. And I don't.
Okay.
Come
All
on,
Rick.
pick one.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna let you pick whatever you want. There's
How
a
many do we
mystery one
have?
here.
How many do we have?
There's 1, 2,
Where's
1,
the Ace
2, 3,
Hardware
4,
one?
5, 6. Oh, is it in my purse? I thought I was gonna keep
Did
that
you?
one.
Yeah, forget it. Forget it.
Where'd it go? Is it not?
I don't know.
Is it loose in there?
I know there's an Ace
Yeah, there
Hardware.
is. Yep, I saw it too. Oh, here it is. We should have what? 7?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
right?
Yeah, there you
I
go.
was keeping that season
And
candy.
yeah, okay, there we go. All right, gotta
They
keep
just
her
they slid down. You can have whatever.
target.
I bet you
All
want
right.
these candy.
Okay,
Okay.
Sandy, you pick one. Mix them up.
Top, bottom, middle.
Pick this one.
Huh?
JP's?
Oh, wow.
Have your choice. Want to pick one? Have a choice. Yeah. Okay.
Tom and Kathy Pascu.
All right. You've been sitting there very quietly and see you're rewarded. Yeah, we got Ace Hardware, we got a couple Panera.
And Lozano. Oh, okay. Well, perfect. Thank you so much.
You won. Okay.
She's coming. How many you got left?
What? Okay, well, she
5.
picked one, so we'll still have 4 left.
Okay.
Okay. Richard, pick one. Just pick one.
Pick one, come on.
Pick
Him.
Pick one. Okay, you don't want to say the name. Sheila.
All right.
Sheila, this one is for her dad.
Now you need to keep this. Do not give it to your dad.
She gets to pick
Don't
first.
give it to your dad.
Yeah,
Don't give it to your dad.
I know. Oh, there she goes.
Sheila, I hope it's an all expense paid trip to Palm Springs.
Yeah. Ace Hardware, C-SPAN, and we don't know what this is.
Yeah. Oh, that.
It's-
That's the mystery. The mystery. Oh. He took the mystery.
All right, we got 3 left.
Okay, I'm
3
gonna pick
left.
one. I'll pick one, then you can pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see here. Diana Keys.
All right.
Oh, I said you.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
that's sweet of you.
Let's see. Carol Hagen.
All right, Carol.
And let's, yeah.
Oh, there she goes. See's Candy, Ace Hardware, or Panera Bread? I know, right?
Yeah, I agree.
No.
That would have been my
Okay.
pick. Cease Candy.
Everybody can use Ace. You want to pick one?
Sure. Steel hooks.
Oh, Sal.
Oh, Bell hooks. All right. Ace Hardware. There you go.
Last one. Oh, that's the last one. All right.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. We really enjoyed being here. I think you did well.
Yeah, right. So my question was, so these forms, we really hope that you understand, we really just want to be helpful. If you check the box, we will call you. If you have questions, we will answer for you. We are not going to pester you, put you on any kind of list or anything like that. We really enjoy coming here and enjoy your guys. And also, if you have any input as to any categories you think we might be missing, by all means, let us know.
Will you be
Have-
staying after a little bit in case
Yeah,
anybody
I
wants to
can,
connect
yeah.
with you? Okay.
Missed it. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, you can do that. And we'll take care of your cremation for you. Absolutely. Yeah. You should organize it in advance, though. You gotta get that- Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you all
Yep.
very much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, love.